Can you guys hear me now? It's the wrong microphone. I'm not sure what's going on. It's not on mute. For some reason, my microphone is not. It's always something. I'm going to try to get my microphone. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Frank, David, Kurt, Tasmanian Running, Goku Runner? Cheers, everyone. I don't have my right microphone plugged in. For some reason, it's plugged in. My daughter was running and literally finished running like 3 minutes before I was supposed to go live, so I didn't get a chance to test everything. And I brought up Streamlabs before the microphone's plugged in. So I think that might have something to do with it, which is weird. Trying to still see if I can switch microphones. Can you guys hear me okay now? I'm trying to check some settings here. Loud and clear. Who needs a blue head when you have an internal mic? Yeah, it's gonna drive me crazy. I don't even know what mic is turned on. I got a mic that's built into the webcam. I got a mic plugged into, I have a mic built into the laptop. And I have a microphone obviously sitting right here in front of me. And I'm not sure why it's not working. But anyways, so today I wanted to talk about running doubles. Frank said I already know his thoughts on the matter. I want to start talking a little bit about why we would want to do that. Should we do that? So I'm still troubleshooting while I'm talking. Multitasking. I'm too fancy over here with all the tech. Yeah, I was a podcaster for a long time, and so I've had lots of microphones. I bought this microphone a while ago, so this is like one of the first iterations of Blue Yeti. It's not like the nicest, fanciest one. But anyways, I've been incorporating some doubles mixed into my training plan. So as I've been moving forward, and I'm in week I think 25 now in my kind of training plan, if you want to call it that, my comeback this year, and I've been slowly adding a little bit more formalized training to my plan that includes doubles. I'm also somebody who's strapped for time, and that usually dictates a lot of what I do. And so for me to start ramping up my mileage as I go beyond 50 miles a week, I need to start trying to do some things that will help me get there. Doubles is allowing me to break it up, getting up super early in the morning and then running a run later on that evening. It seems to probably be the only way I can probably do that. And if you're in the chat right now, welcome. Thanks, everyone. It's good to see you. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up while you're in here before you forget. So I did a double yesterday. I did a double Sunday. So Sunday I did 19 miles broken up into actually 3 runs. One mile of it was just kind of a shakeout to rest my weary legs. And then, so that was 18 miles broken up over 2 runs. And then let's say Wednesday, I did 2 runs. I did 8 miles in the morning and then 8 and some change at my son's baseball practice. So I didn't feel bad. I don't feel bad. It's one of those things that I think I can start incorporating. I'm doing it slowly, so I'm not just like jumping, doubles every single day. I do see some people in our run club, especially the gentleman that is number 1 in our group right now. I just think he runs all day long. He runs like 4 runs a day. And I go in and look, and it's he's running all kinds of miles. He'll have like 45 miles like on Tuesday. It's crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen that in the run club. It's me going here and check into the chat. It's going to drive me crazy that I don't have my real microphone now. So everybody telling me they can't hear me. Party time. That's right, Goku Running. Party time. Kelly said, I'm sitting on a tractor, can't hear a thing, but I won't be missing this one. Sorry, it's always something. It's always something. What I have to learn now is that I have to have the microphone and the camera plugged into the laptop before I bring up Streamlabs, or else it doesn't register within Streamlabs. That's the problem. So hopefully you can hear me loud enough. Frank said, yay. Feel the excitement. There we go. Let me get down in here. Who needs a Blue Yeti when you have an internal mic? Absolutely. I got all kinds of mics. I don't know which one's turned on right now. A little feedback. Do you have feedback now? Let me know. I don't think the only reason you're getting feedback is because the internal speaker is on for the laptop. Usually when the Yeti's plugged in, it silences all sounds. So for me to hear anything, I have to be plugged into that. Oh, never ends. Too fancy with all the tech. Just did doubles to add mileage, usually just easy running. That's what Goku Runner said. Kurt said doubles don't sound bad. It's the double laundry that makes me scared of it. Yeah. So that's one of the issues I have too. It's just a lot of laundry. But for me, I mean, that's a secondary. It's not too bad. It's the getting up super early for me that does it. So, you know, we do a lot of trading off right now with the baby and my wife, and letting, you know, my daughter do her runs, my wife get hers in, and just kind of being equitable with the time and sharing the responsibilities of watching the baby and getting things done. So I did the other day, I got up at 4 something with intentions and trying to do 20 miles, just really easy, slow, borderline junk miles, but just getting more time on my feet, because that's where I'm trying to build that base there. I didn't do that. I kind of sat around, read some, drank some coffee, and then came down around 6 and just did 8. And I was having stomach issues, I think from the dinner the night before. So I cut it off at 8. I wanted to do, I think I was going to shoot for 11 again. After I bailed on each level that I thought I was going to get to, I bailed on it, and this settled with 8, and then did 8 that afternoon. So my legs were kind of tired for the second run, but I don't really think it was from the first run. I think it was from last week. So part of the balance that I want to kind of strike with doubles is really just making sure I get enough rest. And I'm probably only going to maybe do 2 to maybe 3 a week. Probably 2 for the first couple of weeks, just trying to get used to it. And to me, it's not even just the running, it's just the getting up early. I hate getting up early. Hate it. And running. A lot of times I'll get up early and I'll just sit up there. I hate getting up early and running. I don't know why. Races are usually the only thing that get me up that early. Goku Runner said, LOL, too true, SMK. Tasmania Running said, haha. Yeah, the laundry really adds up quickly. Yeah, that is a tough thing, is keeping up with laundry. I've been fortunate, I think for Father's Day, family got me some more. I've been wearing those running tights. Well, I wear shorts over them, but the ones that have the camera, the pockets on the sides. I put a camera in. It's not 4 cameras, but I put a camera in my phone camera. I put my phone in the side. I have this big giant iPhone 11 Pro Max. It's a huge phone, and usually when I run, I have to put it in the pack, and I don't have access to it. So I like being able to put it in the sides now. So I use those a lot. I use less when I run on the treadmill. So I don't wear a shirt when I run on the treadmill, and then I can just wear just the compression tights or something like that, and use a little bit less laundry. But I use a towel, as you can see hanging right there. I always have a towel because I sweat so much down here, and I don't like sweating at the treadmill. It's a considerable amount of laundry for sure. No more feedback. Awesome. Thank you, Goku Runner. Frank said, I'll get him next week, maybe. Oh, you're going to get that guy. I wish I remember his name. I have to look up his name. Let's do his first name. Let me go check here. Mark. There we go. So we are at, what day? We're at Thursday. Mark has 81.8 miles and 15 runs. Just so everybody knows. So if you're part of the Motivation Theory Run Club, go check out Mark. He's #1 right now, and he just puts up ridiculous amounts of mileage. And I for a while I was like, how is he doing this? And he's just running all day. He just does like 4 runs a day. So I think the possibility of ever being able to snag that front spot is going to be tough, especially for me. Posner too. You know what's funny is that, you know, when I finally started amping up my mileage, we get some more people in there. It's absolutely like doubling what I'm doing. So just like, darn it. Posner too. Welcome to the stream. Kelly, welcome. I'm missing people. Posner 2 said, I'm going to start incorporating a double about once a week as my mileage is starting to creep up. Absolutely. I think it's a good way to do it, like with everything else. I believe in easing into things to make sure that you don't get injured, that you don't do too much too soon. So I think it's very smart. Kurt said, I think a double is a sufficient replacement for a weekly long run. I'm thinking it's not right. It depends. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I don't think it replaces a long run. I think it helps replace some easy day runs. And as you are more fit, you could probably put some doubles in with some, you know, threshold and stuff like that. But I think it helps you be able to get more time on your feet and really start to affect your glycogen levels. So I think that's really what you're pushing for, is to significantly impact that, to significantly impact your aerobic base, which helps you, you know, obviously the more miles you run, the faster you're going to get. So any of you who are starting now, you may not have noticed as much, but those of you who have been running basically from scratch and then gaining a lot of fitness, you'll know the more you ran, the faster you got and the easier it got. I know that when I was training specifically for half marathons and marathons, I probably wasn't running enough mileage. And then when I switched into running ultra marathons, I would see things like when I used to bonk at like 20 miles. I hit the wall like everyone else. And that's when your glycogen levels start to crash. That's where that hitting the wall comes from. And like in the Marine Corps Marathon, that's when you hit the bridge would be where I normally would just like crash, and then there's no crowd, so you kind of dip down. I find myself walking a lot over the bridge into Crystal City out of Washington, D.C. But when I started running ultra marathons and training and running at a lot more mileage, I wasn't probably significantly changing any kind of speed stuff. It was really just running a lot more mileage, and I found myself getting to the bridge and just running over the bridge and not even feeling anything. And because I had gone through so much training, dealing with depriving, being able to really affect your glycogen levels and being able to train through that. Yeah, so you're wanting to kind of put your glycogen levels in a depleted state, and that helps enhance your training, especially at the marathon level. And I think that's really where a lot of that push from is being able to kind of push that running hard and being able to extend that beyond bonking at 20 miles, which most people only have about 4 hours worth of that stored up in them, 3.5 hours. And when you increase that, your activity to twice a day, you can help even affect that glycogen level content, the fat oxidation, and all the enzyme activity that increases when you're doing that, when you're training twice a day. So do I think it necessarily, like running 2 4-mile runs is not the same as running 8. So running 2 10 miles is not the same as running 20 at once, but it does have a significant impact on just helping you with your time on your feet. Because running one long run is harder on your body than running 2 shorter runs split into 2. And to me, it's more helpful to kind of manage upping my mileage on my easier days than really necessarily replacing my long run. It's more about, for me, it's more, managing my time and dealing with being able to increase my mileage per week rather than trying to replace a long run. I know I've said that about 10 different ways, but it's hot down here. And, you know, the more fit you are, so for those of you who have recently started running in the last couple of years, you know, if you've been running for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years consistently, it's going to be a little bit harder to see those gains, and doubles are a significant way to help people who have been running a lot to be able to push through some of that stagnant fitness. That's another way of looking at it. So while doubles are, I think, good for everybody, it depends on where on the spectrum that you fall on how you should implement them, because you really start seeing, you know, a really good increase in your fitness when you start hitting 60 to 90 minutes. The more runs you can have that are 60 to 90 minutes, you know, more always says like that 2 hour mark, but the more that you can push towards that hour and a half to 2 hours, the more benefit you're going to see, even if those are broken up, slightly. But, you know, I like to push to have a minimum of an hour to an hour and a half for all of my runs, no matter what they are. So if I can put together 2 1.5 hour runs, and if I can't carve off a 3 or 4 hour period, I can break those up, which significantly help. Let me jump back out here into the chat. Am I lagging? Am I lagging a little bit? Kelly said, ugh, I don't really, unless I'm already up early. Frank said, when I run doubles, I try not to wear shirts without a liner and reuse them, and just end up using 2 pairs of underwear and 2 pairs of socks. Yeah, that's definitely a good way of doing it. So I do have some running shorts like Frank's talking about that are kind of running shorts that don't have a liner in it, and I just replace I just wear different tights or underwear, whatever you want to call them, underneath. It kind of helps with the laundry. I do have a lot of running shorts that have liners in them, and I've come to find out I'm not a big fan of them all the time. I almost like just wearing the running tights with regular shorts over top of them. The more and more that I've run, I've just kind of not liked as the liners age and they become kind of saggy and worn out, they become a friction point that can cause chafing. That's what I've found out. Not always, but I've found that the older my running shorts get, the more apt they are to causing that. Frank said, New Mexico representing. That's awesome. Yeah, everyone type in where you're from. You put what country, you don't have to put your town, but type in what state or country you're from. That's always fun to see everyone who is here, and I can shout you out. Shane Kurt Klein said, don't even have 81 car miles this week. Exactly. Yeah, we're talking about that guy already. It's kind of disheartening. And you know what, the funny thing is Frank and Kafuzi were pretty much leading every week. It was always neck and neck. Tasmania Running said, I am at 0K. Did my ankle last week. Then again today, just walking. No shame in walking, as long as you're getting the time on their feet. It happens. Definitely happens. Recycling on Wednesdays said, welcome to the stream. First off, at Tasmania Running. That sucks. I'm so sorry. That does suck. It sucks to be injured. I'm actually getting to a point where my foot doesn't bother me anymore, so I'm super happy. I'm actually starting to really be able to push stuff a little bit, which is great. Welcome to the stream, West Virginia Running Don. Don said, what's up, everyone? Shailene and Kurt Klein said, what's up, Mr. Don? Kelly said, question, does more time on your feet strictly mean running, or does hiking count? I believe, first off, that everyone should hit the thumbs up right now. I'm going to keep pressing that. I always want to get this thing to at least 20 every time stream. So, no, it doesn't mean strictly running. Time on your feet to me Could eventually, as the more fit you get, be running, but I think as you're building your base, time on your feet is walking, hiking, anything you can do to help your body get used to staying on its feet, on the feet, because again, you can run. Say you run 9 hours a week. That's a good amount. That's a good amount of running. But you run and you end up running an ultra, and it takes you 12 to 24 hours, depending on the ultra. That's a long time to be on your feet in a day, and your feet aren't used to doing that a day. So I think I've mentioned this before. So the more standing you can do, I mean, to me, while I don't log time on my feet, a standing desk, I stand as much as I can. I have my desk up, and I stand up at my desk, so my feet are used to being on, 8 hours a day, as much as I can, more walking. So anything you can do to be on your feet is going to significantly help you in an ultra. Because you definitely don't want to be the first time you've been on your feet for 12 hours be running, because your feet are going to get beat up. Your feet get beat up in races. It's just hard on your feet. But so the more things you can do to get your feet used to that, always the better. Frank said hiking definitely counts, especially if you're getting your heart rate up. Yeah, so that's a different part of it. So if you're doing it time on your feet, I'm just talking strictly time on your feet. But Frank's talking about, yeah, so everything you can do to kind of raise your heart rate up. If you could walk and hike, power hike, and have your heart rate up over 100, 100, 110, 115, that's great work. It's going to help you, definitely, because you're going to spend a lot of time, depending on the race and how fit you are and kind of the level you are of a runner, you're going to spend a lot of time walking, power hiking, whatever you want to call it. Welcome, David Rowan. Scotland here. Got the flag and everything. Real Brother 32 said Memphis, Tennessee. That's where you are right now? Thought you were in Virginia with me. Goku Runner said Texas, where it's 1,000,000 degrees and 100% humidity. Kelly said New Hampshire. Awesome. I didn't realize that's where you were. New Hampshire. Frank's New Mexico. I said that because Jonas is also from New Mexico. Oh, okay, that other runner. Gotcha. That makes sense now. Sorry, sometimes there's a lag between what I'm talking about and what I see in the chat. Your Brother 32 said, salute, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it. John said, evening, guys. What's going on? Welcome to the stream, John. West Virginia Running Don said, just finished up my 5 mic run, Kurt. You just finished up your 5 miles. Okay. Yeah, I haven't run yet today. It's throwing me off because it's a Thursday. Modern Day Tech, welcome to the stream. What's going on? He says, what's up, Donald, at West Virginia Running Don. Modern Day Tech, one of the patron sponsors of the channel. Thank you very much. Kurt said, nice man, trying to decide if I'm going out today. Need an off week, but want miles at the same time. So that, I think we talked about that last stream, is kind of that addiction to running and feeling bad. Like, I can deal with one day. So I took off Monday, but because I wanted to incorporate doubles, like, a large part of that motivation was, obviously helping my fitness, but a large part was trying to make up the day that I missed. So being part of the run club does that. When I start seeing that I didn't post any miles on Monday, and then Tuesday rolls around and everybody logs their miles for Monday and Tuesday, and that looks like I'm just like so far behind everyone. And I know that's not comparing. I know you're not supposed to compare, but it gets to be a little bit of pressure. It gets to be pressure. Real Brother 32 says, I'm in Lake Ridge. Thought you said where you're from. Okay, you're talking about like where you're originally from. You can tell where you're originally from. That's fine with me. He said, I haven't had my smoke yet. Modern Day Tech said, hey, Shailene and Kurt Klein. Long time, Kurt, Shailene. How are you? Kurt, you guys are going to have a baby soon, right? Was I wrong? Am I imagining something? Have I seen pictures of your wife being pregnant? Maybe I'm imagining it. I don't think I am. I think you are. Kurt said, living the dream, man. Long time to hope you're doing well. West Virginia running Don's doing good. Kurt said, it's definitely an addiction. It is. And that's one of the things I try to talk about is telling people that, that it's okay to take breaks, because like if you look at Kofusi, he's definitely in an overtraining state right now. You can see him as he hit his 100-mile week. He was pushing hard for that, but he was jumping from doing like 70 to 80 miles a week to hitting 100, which can be tough because he doesn't run. If you look at what he runs, he's not running easy miles. I look a lot at his pace, which is impressive. He runs a lot of longer miles at a very high speed. So he's running a lot of hard miles. So it's not just the long miles, it's the intensity in which and the pace that he's running those. Kurt said, in October, yes, sir. Going to be crazy. Well, congrats, man. That's awesome for you guys. That's definitely awesome. 100-day text said, doing great. Busy, busy, busy. Got to start working out again. Yeah, you do. That's always part of the plan, though, isn't it? It's always part of the plan. It took me a while to get back into it also. Welcome to the stream, Joe. What's going on? Kurt said, could be worse things to have an addiction to. Absolutely. Absolutely. One of my other addictions is food. I like food. So it's a good thing that right now that I'm running again, because when I don't run, that's when I gain weight, because I love food. And it's hard to break that addiction. Well, typically a lot of ultra runners have problems with addiction across the board to many different things. Joe Kern said, hello, John, from Greenfield, Indiana. I'm on my off week, and it's killing me mentally. Yeah, you just need to kind of take a breath and understand that, that break is just as important as the training. Your body is gaining benefits from that break. And, occasionally I'll take off 2 days in a row, and I always feel super good when I come back. Like, I always have a really good run after being off for 2 days. So it's good to have an off week. It's good to lower your mileage and then ramp back up. And if you see me, I usually will go typically 2 higher mileages relative to what is high for me at that point, 2 high weeks, and then I'll dip down to probably like 65% of that. And it's good. I always feel great the next week coming back. So it's very beneficial to take the breaks. Frank said, he had 3 workouts in his 100-mile week. Not ideal. Yeah, he did it in a tough way. I mean, I understand it. I mean, I'm not knocking him at all, because I think he's a beast for putting down that mileage, but I just think there's a way that you got to do it. Like, when I'm going to be trying to shoot for 100 miles at one point, I'm going to have to do it in a way that is much different than him. I'm not going to be pushing the pace so much. It's literally just going to be getting up early in the morning and trying to crank out, 11 to 15 miles each morning. Just super easy miles, not pushing it at all. That's the only way I would be able to kind of do that. And I don't even know if I'll put a workout in. I really don't know how much I would do. It would depend on how I would push that. John said, big day yesterday down in Yorkshire, England. 40K with 3 big hills, and my pack weighed more than a small child, so I had no choice but to hike everything apart from the downhills. Yeah, that happens. It's a heavy pack carrying around a small child. That's funny. Well, congrats on that. That's awesome, John. West Virginia Don said, my 50K was officially canceled. Oh, that's tough. Oh, that reminds me. So the Marine Corps Marathon has sent out an email, and we've talked a lot about how they're going to be changing running or races and how it might look. And the funny thing is, like, with the Marine Corps Marathon, they came out with a version that I hadn't really even thought of. So they're doing it by time limit now. So what they're doing is they're basically telling everyone at this point, it might even drop. The Marine Corps Marathon is telling you that you have to run a 12-minute mile average pace, or you're gonna get pulled off the track. So basically, they're giving everyone the option to do a virtual race. So you'll still get the same shirt, the same medal, the bib. They'll send you everything, and you just complete your race, and they'll tell you where to submit your results to. But for the people that are starting, they also canceled the kids fun run, the 1 mile. They usually have a kids fun run that I think is the day before, and then they do the 10K that starts in a different spot in DC. And basically, they're canceling. They canceled the 10K. They're offering it virtually, and then they canceled the 1 mile kids fun run, and then they're limiting the field to only people who can run a 12-mile and under pace. So they're severely trying to limit the amount of people, and they're starting, they said, 24 waves. So they were trying to put out their why 12-minute miles, and I think it has to do with the time because it's the Marine Corps Marathon, the Marines anniversary. I think it was like, how many years? I'm having an issue remembering it, but it's all these things come into play. So basically, they were starting everyone in 24 waves with a 12-minute mile max. So it looks like I'm still able to go run. I know a lot of people were upset that they feel like the People's Marathon is now not the People's Marathon because they're not allowing everyone. So then they issued another email kind of apologizing and explaining and giving a lot more context to why they did what they did. I think what they did was actually kind of smart. They offered a lot, they just offered a lot more options than just like either you can run it virtually or just cancel it. I mean, they could have done that like a lot of other places are. So they're still, as of right now, offering the ability to run it if you can run under a certain pace. And they said they could even increase that. They might drop it even more. So I'm still good. Even if they drop it again, unless they significantly drop it, I'll still be good. Sorry to hear about your 50K, Don. That stinks. Kelly said, I'm sorry, Don. Recycle on Wednesday said, Don, that's a shame. Frank said, bummer. Kelly said that you're waiting to hear about your September race. Well, it leads me to believe that some of the bigger races are doing a lot more thinking about it, since the way that, the Marine Corps Marathon has had a significant different plan than I've seen like any of the other marathons, which is leading me to believe people are trying to do what they can. But out of all the options we talked about for having these races and how they would change, I never thought about them cutting off the time limit, like dropping down with the minimum cutoff time. I never even thought about that, which is an interesting way of thinning the herd. What's up, everybody? If you're just joining me today, we're talking a lot about running doubles. I'm going to get back to it some and kind of answering it. So we're talking about running doubles, kind of the benefits of it. Should you do it? I still have some more points I want to talk about, and please make sure you hit that like button, smash that like button when you're in here, and if you are not subscribed, please consider doing so. Kurt said, bummer, man, going to do the miles anyways. Yeah, Don, are you going to run that 50K? You can do it. I ran a 50K on my own. Did my own on the treadmill, but I don't advise that. Don said, just running to be running now. Next race in October, maybe. Kelly said, that sounds like a fabulous day, John. If you're talking to me, different John? Thank you if you're talking to me. Frank said, does the Marine Corps Marathon still not have a staggered start? They do not typically. They're going to be doing a staggered start, obviously, from what I read, 24 waves. But no, they basically line everyone up into corrals, and it's a big cluster to begin with. They have two roads at the Marine Corps Marathon, separated by kind of guardrails, and they split you, and then they merge you after you start down the road some. So there's plenty of room, and then they break you up into corrals that you're not supposed to, like, you're supposed to start where your time is. But what typically happens is you have a lot of people that are don't want to be back where they should be, and they move up front, and it causes a log jam. and it's kind of a cluster at the beginning. But no, they do not do a staggered start. You never know. You know, with how things are evolving and how the races are changing, they could absolutely start to incorporate that type of stuff, because we don't know how this is going to affect races forever. Like, we're thinking now, like just this year, races are going to be affected. Races could be affected in the future forever on how they're doing this stuff. So they're probably looking at all of it. West Virginia running. Don said, probably Kurt. You know me. So yeah, Don's going to do something. Kurt said, just remind me not to set up a step challenge the week of a 50 mile. That's funny. Yeah, I ran. I you know, the Garmin app has you always in these step challenges, and I check it every so often. Like last week, I ran 51 miles, and I guess I crushed everyone. And it's like it randomly puts you in these step challenges with people. And I think I ran, took 113,000 steps, which I think is the highest I've done, which I thought was funny. Joe Kern said, they officially canceled my 12-hour, but it was at a public park, so everyone just showed up and ran virtually together. It was only about 100 people though. That's not bad. So like, if you have 100 people, I really don't think that that's bad. I mean, you can break that up into safe distances and things like that. I think these smaller local races should still be able to hold these things in a safe way, even by starting them in waves. I think there's a way of doing it. Marine Corps Marathon is tough because people take public transportation there, which adds one level. You come out of the Pentagon, and then everyone would be you're funneled into these crowds that walk to Runners Village. So you're walking like a mile in Runners Village to Runners Village along these roads, and then you stand in Runners Village. And then Runners Village is huge, so you're not crowded there. It's just when you get into the crowds, you're really like chest to chest, shoulder to shoulder for probably 10 to 15 minutes at least before the start. As they start to call the racers into there. So that part's tough. So I think they're probably going to break you up into smaller groups in those waves. Luckily, it's on a highway, so the highway goes a long ways back and where they start, so they'll have plenty of room. It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. John said, thanks, Kelly. My first visit to Yorkshire Dales is the scenery, and the scenery is truly amazing. Kelly said, John, I visited England years ago. Absolutely beautiful countryside, but didn't get to hike Scotland 2022, and I'm still hitting those mountains, hopefully in a race. Frank said, it's crazy, even in non-COVID times, for a race that size to not be staggered. Are they typically? Frank, I'm not aware of those large races staggering their starts like that. Yeah, they usually fire off the cannon, boom, and you stand there. I mean, you'll stand there if you're in the four hour. I mean, just where you are. If you're like in the 4 hour completion crowd, you'll stand there for 5 minutes and then move before it actually everything starts to kind of just does that rubber band effect. But it's always cool. They always have like planes fly over, people, skydiving in with flag or parachuting in with flags and stuff. It's doing low flyovers and stuff. It's always really cool. They always do something that's really neat. Kelly said, sorry, John, the other John. I get it now. It's the other John that lives in the really cool place, not this John. I get it. Scotland. We all want to go there and run. But he doesn't. They don't run in kilts. That's what he said. A chief. This John said, I've entered a 50K at the end of August, and they will be starting us at 30-second intervals to keep social distancing. Only 150 max in the race. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. So I've recently started talking with the race director about some some stuff with packs and stuff like that, becoming an ambassador for a company, come over here with some hydration packs and stuff like that. And he's a race director for the races I run in, and I'd love to pick his brain about how they think about all of that stuff with coordinating. They do smaller races, not like the Marine Corps marathon size, but I've never been in another race where they stab. I've never been in a race, now that I think about it, where they stagger the start. Even JFK 50, there's no staggered start. And there's not even, it's not even chip timed. So, I don't know. David Rowan said, Kelly, try the Glencoe Marathon if you are looking for a great marathon in Scotland. Nice. Joe Kern said, we got the largest half marathon here in Indianapolis. Last time I did it, it took 45 minutes to get the start line. Holy smokes. Is it because of the roads? Like 45 minutes. I mean, the Marine Corps Marathon typically will say they have about 25,000 people. And it doesn't. I've never been at the end of it, so I really don't know how long the end of it takes. That's crazy for a half marathon. That's huge. David Rowan said, John, which 50K? Recycling on Wednesday said 45 minutes. I lack the patience for any aspect of marathons. Yeah, it is tough. It's tough staying there after you get all the excitement, you get hyped up, you're stretching, and then they fire the cannon off, and you're like, woo, let's go. And then you stand there. And then the worst part is, because people become impatient, they start kind of pushing forward. So you're doing this tiptoe dance to move forward, but you're not really moving forward because the people are just compressing. That part's kind of annoying. And I don't typically like being shoved into small spots. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll get on the inside of the guardrail. There's a median, and kind of walk along the guardrail on the inside, just so I'm not cramped up with everybody. Because even before COVID and all this stuff, I didn't like being stuck in the smell zone of 10,000 people around me, or 25,000 people around me breathing on me. It's not my favorite. All kinds of smells coming out of the crowd. It's not fun. Kelly said, David, I was eyeballing that. Do you recommend that over Ring of Steel? Frank said, Boston and New York both stagger now, I believe. That's interesting. How many people do they have in their races? I wonder why the Marine Corps Marathon doesn't do that. It's definitely interesting. You know, I've never, ever heard of that before, so learn something every day. Goku Runner said, yep, Houston Marathon took me 55 minutes in the corral before we got to the front. Holy smokes. That would kill me. There's no way. I don't think I could stand there that long. That's just tough. It probably takes 15 minutes. I'm just guessing 15 minutes to get from when the cannon goes off, probably to get to a run. Because even when you get through the start, it's like everyone waits to run as they go through the start line, and so it takes a long time to get there. But I couldn't imagine waiting that long. Joe Kern said 35K people and 25 corrals. Holy smokes, that's huge. Let me hop back over here for a second. And so when I just hop back over here to doubles real quick, when I start talking about like double workouts I'm going to be doing, like I know that people will do doubles for other types of harder workouts, but I'm typically going to be using them for my easy day. I'm going to be running doubles just to cover easy day mileage. And I went and kind of checked out some of the average mile weekly before they say you really should be doing doubles. So it says right here, people who race 1,500 meters to 5K, it says those people should be running 55 miles to 60 miles per week. If you're in an 8K race to a 10K race, you should be averaging 65 to 70 miles per week. A half marathon, you should be running 70 to 75 miles per week, and then marathon distances 75 to 80 miles per week. And they say they generally will benefit experienced runners who have maximized their aerobic development, meaning they haven't really, they're no longer seeing a ton of improvement. So that's a lot of miles, I think, for a marathon. So obviously, the more you run, the easier things are going to be. That's why I would like to increase. Like, I significantly want to place really high next year in the 24-hour race I'm in. I really want to take a shot at that, so I have to increase my base mileage to do that. Typically, when I'm just kind of cruising and I'm not carrying too much, and I'll lower my mileage to 35 to 40 miles, I pay for that. When I run only those amount of miles for an ultra, it's not as fun as it should be. So I'm going to do everything I can to try to increase that mileage while still trying to maintain life. So what they say, what I've read is that you should be using them to replace your easy days or to incorporate into your easy day mileage, medium to long runs or steady state efforts. And those are for people who've been running a little bit longer, like tempo runs and cruise intervals and speed workouts. Those are going to be the workouts when you do doubles for those. Those are typically when you have a large, you've been running for a long time and you're not really still at that beginner stage. You don't want to get injured at that point. And again, they're looking for people who are, they've been running a long time and they're looking to incorporate doubles just to help increase their fitness again. And that's part of what we talked about last stream, is just trying to do things to shake things up. If you're stagnant in your weight loss or you're stagnant in your gains, like if you've been running for 5 years, it's 50 to 60 miles a week and you're just not getting, you can't increase your 5K or half marathon or marathon, you probably need to start doing things like to increase your amount of doubles and things like that. And also, it goes without saying, so if you're running doubles, like, and you're burning, you're stimulating your metabolism, you're increasing the amount of calories you're burning, that's going to, first off, it's going to make you more tired. It's going to increase the amount of calories you're burning, so you're going to have to eat more, and you're going to have to eat the correct things. So what you don't want to do is the same thing when you start increasing your mileage. If you eat too much, you start gaining weight because you're not controlling and eating the correct things. You definitely need a proper diet when you start burning that. Like yesterday I ran 16 miles, and both times I burned between 1,000 and 1,200 calories. That's a lot of calories I have to make up that day because I don't want my body burning off my muscle. And the doubles, and again, with doubles, you don't want to be doing them back to back. So you don't want to wait like 2 hours. You don't want to wait 3 hours. The best you want to do is a minimum of 5 hours between those workouts. You probably want to do them 7 to 8 hours apart, just to have enough time to recover between those, because you lose the benefit of doing doubles if they're right back to back. Then you could get into an overtraining state, which you don't want to do. Jump back in here into the chat. David Rowan said, Kelly, different type of run. You can run Glencoe, Ring of Steel, and is more of a walk, run, climb. John said, hi, David. It's the Kintiri Way and Ultra on the 29th August. Book through entry central. Joe Kern said, I don't do the big races like that anymore. I like the ones with 200 to 300 people. Yeah, I think those are the most fun races. Like, I'm not significantly drawn to the 30,000 people races. Like, I like running the Marine Corps Marathon every year. That's like the one race I'd like to do just because it's fun. But I'm definitely not seeking out to run a bunch of those larger races. First off, they're expensive. Secondly, they're hard to get to. And I think there's a lot offered at smaller races. I mean, I love the local company that puts on all the races around here. It's just, the races are a lot more fun and intimate. You get to actually kind of make friends with people in those smaller races and see the same people. You get to know the race director, and it's more of a community feel. So that's definitely a benefit than going and spending all that time to these really expensive, large marathons and things like that. Kelly said, David, that's a tough call. I truly love climbing, scrambling, but then it's vacation, so I don't want to be thrashed. Yeah, I'm still shocked you're getting away, Kelly, with your husband being okay with you doing a race while on vacation. Hey, Sheen, you over there? My wife is next door here in her craft room. I was thinking I was going to ask her if she'd be okay if I did a race we did on a vacation to Scotland. I think the answer would probably be no. David Rowan said, John, looked at that, but not convinced it will happen. Thinking of doing River Air Ultra at the end of September or the run, the Blades in October, or both. Frank said, a lot of people doing doubles will have easy in the morning and then a workout in the afternoon, or vice versa. Yeah, definitely you need to figure out what, I mean, I don't think it really matters too much what you do, but I think one or the other has to be your workout. You can't do both a workout. You need to do, or you could do 2 easy runs or mix it up depending on which one it is. To me, I would probably want to do my workout in the first, but I don't know. It depends on how much I do in the first workout. So if I come down here and I run, let's say a double of like 12 miles, depending on where in the week I am, how I feel, and then I'm going to do, you know, 7 miles of a threshold run or a fartleks or something like that. My legs will probably be tired. I don't know. What do you do, Frank? Do you usually do the workout in the first run or in the second run of the day? Because it took, like, to be honest, I know that I'm just starting to do doubles again, but like yesterday, the first eight felt much easier. Obviously it was on the treadmill, but the second 8, it took me 3.5 miles before I even, like, I wanted to quit the whole first 3 miles. My legs were so dead feeling, but after I passed 3 miles, it felt very easy at that point, but it took me a while to really kind of flush out all of the junk in my legs, because it did not feel good on my legs at the beginning, and then it kind of loosened up. And I'm typically someone who feels better after about 4 or 5 miles. I've always been that way. I mean, there's times I get on the treadmill and the first 3 or 4 miles, I'm just thinking like, I guess I could just do 3 miles. So a lot of times if you see that I did 3 miles, it's not because I just decided to do 3 miles. It's because that was a run. I just felt like crap and I just bailed and I didn't want to do anymore because I just didn't feel great. And I'm not sure why. It takes a little while for those endorphins to kick in and I feel great, but I usually feel much better. And that's why when you see me run, and I'll start doing, tempo runs later after doing 3 or 4 miles. That's why I did a 1 mile time trial after I ran 4 miles. I just felt much better after doing 4 miles than I would at the beginning. Oh man. Go back up here and catch back up. Shannon Kirkline said that seems way high for miles on average. For which you have to know, let me know, Kirk. I'll have to go down here. Okay, let me see. Try to catch back up with what's going on. Kurt said it seems way high. Joe Kern said this seems way high. Jalen Kurt said 75 miles for a 6-minute mile is way different than 10 miles, I think. Jalen Kurt said, for faster runner, I mean. Frank goes, I didn't understand what you just wrote, Kurt. I think it's hard, Kurt said, I think it's harder on a slower runner overall to run that high mileage. Sorry, I wrote that terribly. It definitely, so yeah, Frank said that certainly takes more time. So it does. So one of the issues like that I struggled with when I was starting to come back is actually getting the mileage, because it was taking so long to do all the miles. Like my mind thought I needed to get to this level, but it was such a mental struggle to battle through all of that because it takes so long. So like I'm envious. Like I want to up to seeing like Kafuzi and people who are, a lot of you guys that are cranking out your miles really quickly. Like I'm so excited to get my fitness back to the point where I can go crank out, 10 miles in, an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. Like I miss being able to do that. I mean, if I would push to do it, I could do it, but like I'm not I'm not exercising correctly if I do that. I don't want to do that much of a hard run at this point in my fitness. So it's tough. It's definitely tough to balance that. But you know, you can just tune it out. It's good. I've come to grips with where I am right now and getting where I need to go, and I'm going to do the things the right way in a healthy way. Um, it definitely is hard to get those miles in, especially if I have to do 15 or 18 miles, like cranking that out at like 12-minute miles. Oh, it's painful. I mean, painful and mentally, just like that's a long time to just slug along because you have to run at that pace at that time. Instead of just going, you know what, I'm going to run this like I would a race, and then, you know, get into a overtraining situation again, and I don't want to do that. Goku Runner said, definitely a bigger time commitment for slower runners. It absolutely is, especially when you're trying to run at high mileage. Frank said, I don't usually do a workout when I'm doing doubles. I'm usually just trying to get the miles in. Yeah, and that's going to be the way that I am. I don't really think that I'm probably anytime soon. Not anytime soon am I going to be pushing. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Trevor. I appreciate it. Welcome to the streams. Welcome to the stream, not just multiple streams, just the stream. Oh, look, Alexander. What's going on I was just talking about you. Did you hear me? Just talking about you. So Alex is the owner of Athletic Equation, co-owner, race director, all kinds of hats and titles that you have. He puts on one of my favorite races, if not my favorite race, one of my favorite races. So we were just talking about all of the planning that was going into these larger races like Marine Corps Marathon and how they're doing staggered starts. And we were talking about, you know, our affinity for liking the smaller local races over the large, you know, 35,000 people races. And I was stating that I also really like the smaller local aspect and feeling of races. So welcome to the stream. I'm glad you caught it too. I'm waiting for my packs, man. I'm really waiting for them. I'm excited. Ever since searching on them, Alex, all the advertising I get is for those packs now. It's across Facebook, YouTube, everything. Instagram is all for those packs. Frank said, one of the big advantages of doing doubles when you are adding a lot of miles is that you are able to keep your form up for the miles. I think you end up having less potential for injury. Kurt said he agreed. Yeah, so that one of the issues is, and I think, you know, I'll speak for you, Frank, is when you're running a lot of those longer miles. So if you're having to run, you know, 16 to 20 or more miles in one run, and you're slogging along at a really slow pace, you can start getting sloppy with your form, which isn't great for you. You can injure yourself, or it's not good. It's hard to concentrate for that long, especially when you're going slow. One of the things I've been concentrating a lot on since my comeback is making sure as I get stronger, my core is really trying to maintain my core in the proper position, my hips in the proper position. Still driving my knees, still pushing through with my hips. Because I start to notice when I start getting tired, I get lazy. Like I just start swinging my legs instead of driving my leg through, and, you know, going gait cycle of toeing off and stuff like that. Just getting sloppy with the form, and I don't like that. It's not efficient, first off, because, you know, you're using a lot more energy to go across this. Even though you're going slow, you're using more energy to move your body forward through that. So maintaining good form is going to be good, stay healthy, and also be efficient as you can, because you're not being efficient when you're just slogging along sloppily, cranking out junk miles. Recycle on Wednesday said, maybe you said this already, but how much time should you wait between runs if you're doing doubles? So I did say that. So typically, looks like I'm getting some lag. So make sure the lag is not gonna. Can you guys hear me? Is the lag getting me? So you're gonna probably want to wait anywhere between probably 5 and 8 hours is what I would say is a good amount of time. probably better to go 7 to 8 hours in between. Yesterday when I did my doubles, I'm usually probably closer to 10. I got up at 6 in the morning and ran 8, and then did and then I did another 8 at 6 at night. Not that that's what you have to do. You know, as you get more fit, I think you could probably crunch that up a little bit. But, you know, I was fully recovered, I think, from that point. I didn't feel tired other than my legs feeling tired. I think just really having a lot of miles last week. So I think probably you want to stick to at least 7 hours between them to gain all the benefits of them. Kurt said, slogging along. You must have been watching me run lately. Oh, yeah, you cranking out 15 miles with like 3,000 feet of vert and at 8.5-minute miles. I don't think that's slogging along. I see your times, man. Have you been doing slower miles here recently? Because you were cranking them out there for a while, fast ones. Not even you're even at altitude. You're still hitting 2 to 3 to 4,000 feet of gain. That's funny. Alexander said, I missed the plug. Believe the small races are where it is. Meet more people, make better connections, and greater fun, camaraderie, family, friendships, and great trails. Absolutely. So I've been talking about the ATR 24-hour race on this channel for 5 years. It's an awesome race, and Athletic Equation puts on tons of races. They have all kinds of different flavors of races for people who want to do different things, from like 12 hours to the IC. You get the IC8, you got the 12-hour version of the 24, where you're still running as much as you can in 12 hours. You guys now have developed where other places. You've added a lot to the race lineup, which is awesome, and they're a lot of fun. I mean, everybody's super nice, and the races are well done. And it's, if you're in Virginia, you probably want to try to check them out if you can travel. Alex is right, and the camaraderie and just the people you meet and you're able to kind of talk to. I remember specifically one year I was running the ATR 24-hour race, and I remember sitting there at I think it was I can't remember if it was the dinner the night before, but I was talking to this older couple. I think they were probably in their late 60s. They had been married together like 30-something years, and they had been running ultras together forever. They weren't fast. They admittedly said they were not fast, but they'd still go out and do this. And that's kind of one of the things in my mind that was like, that's awesome. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to still do that at that age. And that's what proves to me that, that's the good part about doing ultra marathons, is as you start to slow and you get older and you're not really pushing the paces anymore, you can still run. You can still go do these races. And they're always out in beautiful places in the woods and trails and stuff like that. So it's phenomenal time to just go out and have fun on the trails. Hey, everybody, please make sure you hit that thumbs up while you're in here. We're 13. Let's try to get it to 20. I always try to get it to 20 before we stop the stream. Let me go back in here. Jalen Kurt Klein said, that is 100% why I want to get into trail races. The people. Perfectly said, Alexander. Absolutely. John said, when you're tired, your form retracts pretty fast. I know when I'm losing it, I start toe shrinking every rock on that trail. That's funny. Yeah, it's funny is when I start to I remember I was running, and I never think about it too much, because a lot of times when you're running a lot, especially in training and you're running a lot of miles, you kind of just retract into your brain. And I remember I was on vacation with some friends, and I was running just a bunch of miles, and one of the guys I was with, he's my friend, was mimicking how I was running. I look at him, and he had like the T-Rex arms, and he was just kind of shuffling his feet, and I looked at him like, what is he doing? And it dawned on me, he was mimicking how I was running. I was tired, and I had been running, it was hot, and my form had gotten into almost like a little T-Rex pose, and I was just kind of shuffling along. So I always remember that, and I always try to think, okay, now I need to stay athletic. I need to stay athletic and engage my core, drive my knees, push through my run gait, my gait cycle. Oh, that's funny. right, it looks like just past 6 o'clock. All right, everybody. So how do you guys think this Thursday is going to work out? If I move the Friday live broadcast to Thursday at 5, is that fine? It seems like everybody still was able to kind of catch this, which is cool. So I think I'm going to move the Friday live stream to Thursday at 5 p.m. and then we're going to keep the Tuesday at 5 p.m. live stream. I'm excited about this, guys. So for Father's Day, the wife and family got me this the runner's box, and so I'm going to be doing a video where I unbox this and show you what's in this. I'm excited about that. It's going to be very cool. I have some more videos that are coming along. I'm kind of going on to a nutrition series kick where I talk about the things I like eating when I'm running, and I'm going to talk because I get asked that all the time, so I figured I might as well start talking about that. I'm going to lay out all the things I eat in an ultra that you would find on the tables and what I personally bring to fuel. So I'm going to be doing a video on that, and again, I got more shoe reviews coming and a lot of content that I have to I have to get through. Frank said, I think Thursdays is better than Friday for me. Well, that's good. That's good. Kurt said, what? Jealous? Yeah, this is going to be cool. This is cool. And I think it's bi-monthly. So my wife said bi-monthly. So does that mean I get 2 a month or I get 1 every 2 months? I don't know. But it's got a lot of stuff in it, I tell you. It's got a lot of stuff. I'm going to unbox it. I'll give you a little peek, but look at that. It's got all kinds of stuff in there. It's so cool. And I'm excited to see what is coming. You guys saw the shirt I got from Athletic Equation, the hoodie I got my shirt from the Squamish 50, and I need to start getting into some more shoes, but I need to start picking out the shoes. So if you guys think there's any shoes you guys are looking to see a review on, or you'd like me to see me do a review on, you guys can send me an email or you can comment on any one of the videos, and I will look into it and consider it. You know, a lot of those I'll have to buy. Some companies will send me the shoes, not all of them, so I got to be very prudent with what I select. John McCoy said, "Open the box now, please." I'm gonna do it in a video. I'm gonna do it in a video. Actually, probably the next video I release will probably have that. At least the next 2 or 3 videos will have this one, and I'll show you what's in it. I've taken a peek. It's very cool. Can't wait to show you guys. I'm gonna hop off now. We've passed the hour, and we're respectful of your time. Thanks everyone. Thanks John and Kurt. Pick up the Clifton Edge. Yeah, I need to find a way to do this. So comment on the video. So go find a video. If you want me to review a shoe, go on one of the shoe review videos and comment. That way I can start keeping track, because I won't be able to see this. I'd have to watch the replay. So the Clifton Edge is definitely one I'm looking forward to trying to get. I appreciate everybody being here. You got Shailene, John, Kurt, Frank, Alexander, Recycle on Wednesdays, Kelly, Goku Runner, West Virginia Running Don, Joe Kern. You got a comment, I won't see you. David. Everybody I can see right now. So I will see everybody on the Doc Martens. I have some kind of gimmicky, funny videos I'm going to be doing soon, kind of challenges with running and eating. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be funny. Thanks, John. This is fun. I appreciate that. Recycle on Wednesday. It's good. It's good hanging out with all of you. Next time, I'm going to get through one of these broadcasts without having technical difficulty. I promise. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up if you're in here. Before you go, hit that thumbs up. I want to see it go up. I'm just kidding with you. What else? So I see you all Tuesday, 5 p.m. Have a good weekend. So it's Thursday, Friday. You get your Friday, Saturday, Sunday runs. So you get your long runs coming in. So everybody be safe out there. Take it easy, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. And some videos are going to be coming out tomorrow. The beer mile. Absolutely. That'd be a good one. Beer tears me up, though. I train, because you guys know I always do my runs after the broadcast while I'm drinking beer. So I've been doing my training live with all of you. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Smash that thumbs up on the way out. I'd appreciate it. And be safe. See you Tuesday. Bye.
Tequila.
Hey, I'm glad you made it too, Alexander. Take it easy, Alex. I'll talk to you soon. We're looking forward to getting those packs.